Today we are here with General Douglas MacArthur. Can you introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about yourself?
I was an American military general, and I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas on January 26, 1880. I was a very important piece of the American military during the First World War. I am known for my war tactics and strategy that helped me with some success. I was able to achieve the 5-star rank as a general. At the beginning of my career, I graduated from West Point on June 11th, 1903. I then served as an engineering officer in the Philippines. My father died on September 5th, 1912, and I became a captain after that and took my father's place. I then created the 42nd Rainbow Division and deployed France into the First World War as the 42nd Chief of Staff. With my strategic ideas, I led many raids and attacks on German ground and was recognized as a remarkable leader and general. Throughout the First World War, I earned many awards for my great leadership and bravery, such as the Army Distinguished Service Medal. My chief of staff ended, and then I transferred to the Philippines again. After that, I was transferred back to the U.S. to help military forces in the East.
Can you tell me who helped you be successful, who you worked with, and who you were close to?
I worked with many people, but one that helped me thrive and be successful was my father. My father was the foundation of my success and was a big contributor to it. He helped me get into West Point, and he had many achievements and awards during his lifetime, which set a great example for me. Also, since my father had many connections with the military, that also set me up for success in World War I. Another very important person that I worked with was John J. Pershing, and he gave me many opportunities, such as getting the opportunity to lead in the American Expeditionary Force, and then led me to success and have some awards like the Distinguished Service Cross. He then got promoted to Brigadier General from there. He acted almost as a mentor, similar to my father, in which all I had to do is follow in his footsteps.
Can you tell me some of your achievements that you have and what you fought for?
The main thing that I did was lead the 42nd Rainbow Division. I led many raids in World War I, such as raiding German trenches, and I was also very successful in raiding. I also stopped many German assaults and had counterattacks after they tried to assault. I exposed myself to danger every time I had the chance to, and I risked my life all of the time for the 42nd Rainbow Division. I also fought in many things in the Western Front that were offensive, such as the Champagne-Marne Offensive, the Saint-Mihiel, and the Meuse-Argonne Offensive. I also fought specifically for the Rainbow Division, but the main thing I was fighting for was defending democracy and defending the Allied nations in the war. I wanted to set the standard for other soldiers that wanted to defend democracy. So I had lots of leadership that helped other soldiers be more impactful while in the war. I believed in the saying, duty, honor, country, while I was on the Western Front to lead it. I had many units that had very aggressive tactics to ambush the German forces. I did this as a way to protect the Allied nations and democracy.
So, where exactly did you fight and have important events take place? And when did you fight and have important events take place?
To start off, I was appointed Chief of Staff in June of 1917 in the United States. This represented the start of my success because of my leadership in the Rainbow Division. Then in early 1918, I fought in Lorraine, France, and led attacks across no man's land. From there, I earned a Silver Star, which is an achievement for my success. In late 1918, I then had a defensive part, which was the Champagne-Marne Defensive, and I used lots of leadership to command my division to repel the attacks led by the German forces. I risked my life every time I had to repel an attack. After this, I led my first major offensive part of the war, and it was the Saint-Mihiel Offensive. And this is where I implemented my tactics and more of my bravery to defeat opposing German forces. I was then promoted to the Brigadier General because of my success during this attack. Shortly after the first attack, I was in the Meuse Argonne offensive, and this was the biggest battle that Americans had in the war. I led my soldiers through many attacks that were normally on the front line offensive. Although they were mostly a success, I suffered many injuries and wounds during these attacks. Historian Guzman here, and to this day, Douglas MacArthur is remembered for the great things that he did for this country. He made a lasting influence on the military and World War I and World War II. He had a great impact on military strategy and the post-war transformation of East Asia. One reason why he has a lasting impact is because of his leadership in the World Wars. MacArthur also helped in the Korean War. He even helped retake the Philippines. MacArthur was the supreme commander of the Allied forces in post-World War II, and he oversaw the reconstruction of Japan. He helped reshape Japan into the peaceful, economically strong, and allied country that it is today. At West Point, MacArthur introduced reforms which modernized military education, put emphasis on leadership, ethics, and academics. He had lots of controversial ideas that were later adopted and used in military training and leadership development. MacArthur had lots of confidence, flair, and some controversial decisions which continues to be talked about in discussions regarding the limits of military authority. He also had disagreements with strong leaders such as President Truman during the Korean War, which continues to influence the balance between military strategy and the safety of citizens. MacArthur is well remembered in the field of reconstruction after war, as his reconstruction of Japan is used as a model for post-conflict reconstruction. MacArthur's legacy is good and bad, as he had a good lasting impact on the world, but he also had a large impact. However, overall, he did good things for the world and for America.